My name is Tim Riungu. I'm a saxophone player with the Afrosync band out of Nairobi, Kenya. Afrosync is a 5-piece band based in Nairobi, and we have been together since 2014.
Shamsi Music is a 6-man band, well 7 including Kibuki, sound engineer, and we are a group of guys who love playing music, cool music.
Is a band, and the coming together of 3 fantastic horn players backed by an amazing band, and Victor Kinama on trombone, myself Joseph Mukorabai on saxophone, and McKinley himself on trumpets.
My name is Marcus James Jose, aka James Gogo. My stage name and my band is Gogo Sing.
My name is Ken Mwara, band leader for the Limericks. I play the keys, evidently. And we've been together. All in all, this is the 10th year of the Limericks.
Or the kind of jazz that I play, or the kind of good music that I play, I would call it. Because jazz is so wide. So I'll say the kind of good music I play is Afro soul play. A mixture of coastal, Sega, Chakacha, Nzele, and the classical jazz, bebop, straight up. So that's the combination of that, because I was born in Kibokoni, Mombasa. So, and then my father was in music, so I come from a musical family, basically. So that's the mixture. Nzele, Sega, Chakacha, Bango, and the classical jazz that makes the Afro smooth sound with James Gogo and the Gogo Sing Band.
Jazz is, I'd say it's our favorite. And then when we formed the band, like the whole now 8-piece band, the horns and the backup band, our first gig was the Safaricom International Jazz Festival. So we tended to lean towards jazz.
And jazz is exciting, jazz is always shifting, jazz is very responsive to changes in the environment, like language. So they used to tell us that language is responsive. So jazz responds, I feel, well, art generally does, but jazz specifically for us, it's a language we understand, so we can speak it.
Jazz is a beautiful idiom. It's personally, as an instrumentalist, instruments have always spoken to me much more clearer than the human voice has. And for all of us in the band who are very consummate instrumentalists, we just love being able to express ourselves instrumentally, and also Of course, just instrumental music doesn't make it jazz, but the fact that we can get to take a piece, take a song, and interpret it, improvise on it, and just put another spin on it, interpretation of it. Now that is very fulfilling. That's what we love about jazz.
Who went out to war to fight for their people. Talking about people like Shaka Zulu. Talking about people like Mansa Musa. Thomas Sankara. Nelson Mandela. Jomo Kenyatta.
It's one common place that everyone can meet. We can do zouk, we can do Congolese music called seben, we can do all that kind of music, but jazz is something that touches you to the core. It hits somewhere and it's very wide. So no matter what you love, you'll always find a home within jazz, is what I think. I think jazz also gives you the room for unlimited expression. Like you were saying, if you're playing zouk or if you're playing seben or benga, there's rules that, you know, if you don't stick to that, it's like, it's not legit. Yeah. But with jazz, you can make the music your own. You can come up with something totally different. Some of the songs we're coming up with, you can't really place them in a slot for like a genre that's been there or that is currently there, unless you say world music. So it's unlimited expression.
All of us are fans of traditional jazz. The real down to the core kind of jazz music. But then again, I mean, you have to play across different audiences. So we do smooth jazz as well, and contemporary jazz. And like, I think one of our most popular tracks is a Kenyan rendition of a popular Kenyan East African gospel song, Baraka, which is ideally a gospel song that we've, done a rendition of to be jazz-ish. Okay.
In my view, I believe the Safaricom Jazz Festival has made jazz a lot more accessible to a wider audience, and that has gone a long way, I believe, to reducing the image that jazz music had previously as being elitist, that you had to be part of a very elite and, for that matter, expensive club to be able to enjoy, to participate in it. And by bringing it out to the masses, to people who would not come into the venues where we have been playing the music all these years, it has certainly made people appreciate it a lot more, and also come to appreciate that it's a fun thing. I particularly like also that there's student rates, because something as simple as that and just brings in the younger people and who start getting exposed to this music from an earlier age. And that has really changed the perception that this is old men's music, and I have to wait until I'm old and rich to be able to participate.
Before, people didn't know about jazz. I'm not saying everyone, but most. People didn't know about jazz, but since Safaricom started, at least you can tell people are appreciating jazz music. They're like, that papa is jazz, because people thought saxophone is jazz. When they see a saxophone, those guys are playing jazz. But jazz is a genre of music, not only saxophone. There's piano, there's violin, there's bass, there's guitar, there's drums, there's percussion. There's a lot, in jazz. So I'm happy that now the Safaricom brought that awareness into Kenyans, and it's a beautiful thing.
The greatest thing that Safaricom International Jazz Festival has done for jazz in Kenya is to establish or create or expose that Kenyan jazz sound. And the thing is, jazz, in every culture that it stems or grows in, it reflects the culture or the music culture of that area or that region. So in the States, in Louisiana or wherever in New Orleans, it sounds like that because that's the culture there. It sounds different in West Africa in South Africa, because it's reflecting the music of that place. So we needed to have a stage where Kenyan sound can be jazzified, so that Kenyan jazz can take root basically, and we stop thinking of jazz just as what comes from the States. Yeah.
First of all, in terms of how Kenyans appreciate it, how corporates look at it, and even the perception and the acceptance of artists by now Kenyans at large, it's really, really grown immensely. I mean, there's speak of jazz all over town. I mean, every other function you'll find a jazz artist, you'll find a jazz band, a jazz trio, or something. I mean, it's really, really grown, and I believe it's partly because of that.
I auditioned a number of times. I auditioned 2014. Then when we came together, end of 2014, we auditioned in 2015. We auditioned again in 2016. And that's when we finally got in. But each of those auditions taught us so much about showmanship, about putting a set together, about learning jazz standards and the importance of learning, having a good repertoire. It really grew us in those three instances of auditioning.
Safaricom International Jazz Festival approached us back in 2015 to audition for the 2015-16 series, and we auditioned. I think there were about 60 other bands that also came out, and we were fortunate to have made it through and to be one of the bands picked for that particular season. And so we did our first show with the Safaricom Jazz Festival back in December 2015, and it's been uphill ever since.
What happened is we auditioned a number of bands, I think around 30 bands, and we decided, we're going to give it a shot.
You made it!
And we interviewed, there's a panel of judges that, you go before and play the music, and they liked us, and we managed to get onto that platform.
We just auditioned like anybody else. One of the panelists, Jacob Asi, had been pushing me to do it, so eventually beginning of last year, I just decided let's go for this. And we rehearsed, we had our set together, we went auditioned, and we were taken after the first audition.
Safaricom Jazz, the first Safaricom Jazz started in 2014, and the first Safaricom Jazz, Chris Mitok was one of the artists, and then Chris Mitok came to me and said, James, I want you to play for me, and then we did, I performed for Chris Mitok, the first Safaricom Jazz, and then the second Safaricom Jazz is when Salif Keita came. I was there. I opened for Salif Keita and then Salif Keita, and then after that I performed with Isaiah Katumwa, and then the International Jazz Day, the first one, the second. So I started like that. Started the first one. I was involved from the first one until now. So Safaricom has become part of me, and I love Safaricom. They're doing a great job into promoting the real music and jazz music in general.
The whole process from auditioning to performing for our August 2016 for the, what did they call that?
July, the Jazz Lounge.
The Jazz Lounge, November 2016, February 2016. It was a clear growth process. I mean, like, one person you can try ask is Bob Collymore. The first time we auditioned, they liked us. When we went for the Jazz Lounge, they didn't quite like us. So like, what happened? But by November, we had really worked to turn the tide around. And by February, it was all the way up. So till then, I think it was just a growing experience in terms of performance, dress code. We really had to push the boundaries, trying all that. So everything we do nowadays as a band in terms of performance and all that, I think we learned all that during the Safaricom experience. Trying it out on that stage, because it's all trying to create a memorable experience.
Safaricom Jazz has been very nice because they've given us that platform so that I'm able to bring out my music in a proper way, and people will sit down and appreciate and say, wow, Gogo Simo, oh my God, this guy is amazing. But without that platform, Safaricom platform, that would be a bit tricky. But I really, really appreciate in terms of letting us bring ourselves out musically and also financially to support and do ABC here and there. So
I could, confidently say that it's really, really impacted us and, put us on the platform. I mean, when we were auditioning, some people knew about the limericks, not all. Right now, a lot of people know about the limericks, which is a good thing. Safaricom themselves give you a lot of gigs once you're on their, like you're partnering with them, So like last year, this year, we've had a lot of their functions, a lot of their events. And also from that, I mean, being the latest, hottest thing out there, a lot of corporates also want to be associated with that. So it's been a busy season since we did the first one last year.
Safaricom gave us a platform, Safaricom Jazz rather, gave us a platform to come out. It was our first gig, maybe 5,000-6,000 people one night. It was good. Also, it's opened up paths for us in terms of course, with the platform comes brand, and we've been doing the business end of it, trying to just keep up with that. Our brand has really grown. And also, I think for me, it's just like sort of like validation that we can play on that platform. It was good for our confidence.
To add on to that, Safaricom has opened doors to the international scene as well, has put us in the limelight, and now we are looking forward to going to outside Kenya and play our music out there. The likes of Kina Shamsi, who have gone to Mali.
Yes, Shamsi.
So watch out for this trip that is coming in a few months, and it's just the coming together of this festival and trying to collaborate and a partnership kind of deal where we get to go to other countries and play, and then people from that country come to us, to Kenya to play. So it's an amazing deal for us.
AfroSync playing at the Safaricom International Jazz Festival has had a positive impact in our music and our career, firstly by making our name a lot more recognizable. The festival does invest in a lot of marketing and promotion, and having the festival on your resume as a band it adds a lot of credibility to what the band is doing.
In the next 5 years, the other thing that the Safaricom Jazz Festival will do is to, I guess, give rise or support other jazz festivals. It would be great to have something similar outside Nairobi. It would be great to see what the expression of jazz would be in somewhere like Bomet or somewhere like Pokot, and see, how those cultures what they would contribute to the jazz sound, and not just us in Nairobi. And like George is saying, a lot of bands coming up and coming through that festival, and again being exported out to other festivals around the world. I think it will be the premier jazz event in East, maybe even in Central Africa.
Based on what I've seen with the Safaricom Jazz Festival, I believe the future is bright for the festival and for generally jazz music. I believe by the momentum that the Safaricom Jazz Festival has created, it's well positioned to grow to be even more of an international jazz festival than it is at the moment, to attract even bigger stars. And already it is coming up. It has certainly been established as one of the most desirable jazz festivals for artists to perform. And I understand the international artists actually these days come looking to be part of it, and that's awesome.
I think in terms of organization, I would like to see it spread out a bit more, because it's just one
Like a whole
festival.
weekend,
Yeah, it's a one
you know.
big festival on one day. It would be nice if it like multiple stages, you know, different places, you know, kind of stuff, and it's more variety, it's more opened up, you know, it's more accessible. But Safaricom Jazz is definitely going places. No doubt. Yeah.
It would be an honor, and it would be nice to see us Safaricom Jazz Festival, you know, celebrate a 25-year anniversary, and you know, it would be like a dream come true, you know, to see that it has gone, that's grown big.
To be honest, Safaricom is going places. You know, I'm seeing people booking, like putting it down, like we're going for Safaricom Jazz, not only in Africa but the world, because I love the way they market, what they bring international musician in. So of course we will have that exchange that everyone will want. Even artists that have not performed in that state, they will be applying now. You know, now they call them, they'll be applying. Like we want to be part of Safaricom Jazz. We want to be part of Safaricom. As Kenyans, we're like, yay, it's home. Yeah, so that we can have that exchange program. We go same was going to, you know, to South Africa or to the States and do that. And if we can be able also to have a Safaricom, you know, that that tour of Safaricom, like all the Kenyan musicians that have done can be able to go to, let's say, South Africa, Nigeria, or States, anywhere. That would be amazing, because that is what I'm seeing. Like they're going places.
In the next 5 years, I mean, top on our list would be to do an international stage. So we are working hand in hand with Safaricom. I mean, we are getting our act together, our material together, our EPKs, our media kits, you know, we're getting all that stuff together, so that when opportunity comes knocking, we have the preparedness, you know, that it merits. So I mean, yes, in the next 5 years, definitely, it would be great to see the limericks out there on a circuit internationally.
Besides just traveling, and we have music that we are always making, and we are looking forward to putting out another EP, if it's not, or releasing singles out there. And another thing is to collaborate with musicians out here, local musicians and international musicians. One of the things we're doing is hoping that we could, like for example, right now what we're doing is having the guys, Africa Plus, come from South Africa, and you know, we're just trying to make Africa a smaller, you know, to break the boundaries in Africa. So collaborate with people and just make, you know, Nairobi Horns, that team that, you know, works with this guy and works with that other guy, and to make music, make the world a smaller place.
We also later this year hoping to tour locally, because we need to get this jazz out of Nairobi. Kenya is a big place, and the scene is just focused on Nairobi, and we're hoping to change that by going out there, you know, so Kisumu, whatever. And just we were in Kisumu.
We were in Kisumu, yeah.
It was a good gig. We found a very amazing band in Kisumu, by the way. One vibe.
What our vision and the possibilities that are open before us are to certainly be very well positioned as to continue being positioned as one of the premier jazz acts in this country, and regionally as well. We are certainly looking to create more music that the everyday Kenyan can connect with and identify with and say, yeah, that's my music, that's my band. And that's really where we'd like to go. It's awesome to be out on international stages, and as far as I know, as AfroSync, we've not actually yet done that. And but as those opportunities come, we'd like to be prepared with a product that is distinctly and uniquely Kenyan. But then again, not primarily for our international audience. For our local audience, they are our primary focus, and we'd like to really keep on building that base. And as bigger doors open, we'll be better positioned to step into them.
Thank